Hey, Peter.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, instead of our regular theme song today, because we're going to be doing a B3 episode.
Oh, really? I didn't notice.
Yeah, why don't we have Larry Goldings play a new theme for us?
Well, hello there.
Hi. How about this?
Hey. I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Mark.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Is that Latin music?
I don't know. I don't speak Greek.
That's good. It's all Greek to me.
Latin.
Okay.
All Greek brought to you today by Open Studio.
That's
Go to
right.
openstudiojazz.com for all your jazz lesson needs.
Sorry, I should have prepared you for that.
Larry,
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
Larry, Peter, my name's Peter.
I know you well.
This is Adam.
It's so great to be here.
Okay.
Nice to
Introduce the band.
officially
Okay.
meet you. Yeah. Larry, you've been with us here for an incredible 2 days in the studio.
Yeah.
Feels like longer, but it's been great.
Yeah.
We've had a blast. We're making a B3 course here at Open Studio with
We've done made
yours
it.
truly.
I would say.
It is made.
Right.
About time, guys.
That's
know.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
But we thought we could bring you in on the podcast to talk about your favorite organ tracks, because we have a lot of listening sessions right here. We talk about our favorite, all kinds of our favorite tracks. And I've realized we never have hit our favorite B3 tracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of an impossible task. There's so many
Yeah.
and a wide range of music that the organ finds its way in. But
Yeah. If anyone's up for it, it's you,
well,
I would say.
let's go.
So
Yeah.
right here we've got Larry's bespoke playlist.
Ooh, bespoke it.
Right here for some of your favorites.
Bespoke it.
And I think we're going to start at a very appropriate place.
I like that.
Which is
Don't let him see.
the incredible Jimmy Smith. And this is Oh No Babe from Organ Grinder Swing. Let's have a listen.
Grady Tate on drums.
23 going on. Going on, baby. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Yep.
Wow.
Chills.
Yeah.
They don't teach that fingering at Juilliard. No.
They don't, no. It's in the annex. Yeah.
Kenny Burrell.
Kenny Burrell.
Ha.
You don't hear a lot of that hi-hat shuffle these days.
No, and it's Grady Tate. Different from the drummer he normally had, who was. I'm embarrassed. I can't remember the name. San Francisco guy.
It's like hitting that up,
Get,
on an up triplet, right?
get,
Get committed on that.
get, get, get. The breathing. When I talk about the expression pedal,
Yeah.
see, Jimmy's so soft.
It's a master.
and then-
Yeah. Did Jimmy, like this way of comping, did he create that, or what was the influence on him there? Do you know about that? Because he was definitely influential with it. I know everybody picked that up.
I think so. I think after Jimmy Smith,
Like it became a thing.
This whole sound, right? We were talking about in the chorus, the whole drawbar sound of this, you know, with the added percussion
yes,
and all that.
there's some exceptions. Mel Ryan, who played
yeah.
with organ with Wes before Jimmy,
Yep.
followed a different path,
Yep.
sonically and also vocabulary-wise.
from the Milwaukee.
Yes.
Yeah.
See how soft Jimmy is now?
Yeah.
But the bass still speaks.
Oh.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Jimmy would keep that mic. They would keep the mic open
Right.
at Rudy's. I think it's probably at Rudy's.
Yeah.
So you also get the key click of the organ from the open mic.
Nice.
Common tones.
Yeah. Minor 4.
I still can't get over that hi-hat shovel
I know.
feel, man. It's
I was gonna
so,
say he's committed.
so hip.
Ha.
It sounds so juicy.
Yeah. But how do you do that?
Oh, he's an A flat.
Damn.
It was a G, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Joey got close to duplicating some of his weird touch and fingering, but
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
can't really imitate it though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Every turnaround's been unique too. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's all
you
been different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
each
yeah.
one's a little different.
And it's such a great lesson, actually.
Yeah.
Like those turnarounds.
Woo!
Jimmy is not afraid of the blues scale. No.
No, he's not. And the more I think about it, it really does help to hear the key physically
Yeah.
clicking
Yeah.
from the open mic.
Right.
There's an
the
attack.
percussive,
Yeah.
the hitting. Now, how close are you set up? It sounds very close, sound-wise.
I think it's the same.
Yeah. Now, why does that work so well when he's doing the turnaround and it's not even the same as the bass coming up? And it still works, you know? Because it's been different every time on this turnaround. So,
Yeah. Great.
Grady's like, the hi-hat's all is important now, see? I set it up.
But it does set that up.
It builds. It makes
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
build.
A little foreshadowing.
But I was saying about the turnarounds.
Yeah.
That's like a really useful lesson that you have all of this leeway in those moments, especially.
Yeah.
Those turnaround moments to do different things.
There it
right?
is. Just on cue.
Whoa. Jeez.
I heard a non-chord tone in there.
I mean, that's untranscribable. That kind
I
of
know,
stuff, you know? This might fade. You know, might be one of those. We don't know it yet.
yeah, there
We don't know how to end it. Classic.
Oh. All right, you set the bar high.
That's a
Start
pretty,
out, man.
that's a pretty high bar. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go in a little bit different vein. I was really kind of surprised by this. This is Duke Ellington. This is the New Orleans suite. Opening track, Blues for New Orleans, and on organ is who's on organ?
Wild Bill Davis.
Wild Bill Davis. Now, this is a totally different sound.
Yeah.
So, yep. And later in the track, when he pulls out more stops and gets the Leslie going, I think he does on this track. That's more of what I think of when I think of Wild Bill, but
I don't know this album at all. Do you know this album?
Yeah, well, I used to listen to it back in the day a lot. I had the LP.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it in years. It's a good record. Definitely kind of an overlooked Duke Ellington, later Duke Ellington.
yeah.
Does he have any chorus or vibrato on there?
Yes, he's got
Like a
he's got something going on, but he doesn't have percussion on. He's got some of the highs out.
yeah, he's got a high stop or two.
Whoa. Whoa.
Here he goes.
Open it up.
To me, his comping reminds me of Duke's writing a little bit. The way,
Right,
here
jumping
he
in.
goes.
So everything is starting to kind of swirl and open.
Yeah.
Now he's got the Leslie going. Opened up the drawbars.
And there's a bassist,
Yeah.
so he's doing that locked hands thing up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Fine. Yeah, it sounds like the horns.
Yep, it's a big band
Totally
figure.
Yeah.
That's Blues for New Orleans.
Yeah.
From the New Orleans suite. Duke Ellington, Wild Bill Davis
Yeah.
on the Hammond organ. Why don't we move along here to something a little bit different? This is from Ray Charles. Now, this is an album that you hipped us to this week.
Yeah. You know, it's the other one, the Moanin track starts right out with Ray. Why don't you go to that one instead of the 1 Minute Julep? 'Cause
Okay.
It takes a minute for Ray to get in there.
Let's
And
check
you
out.
can hear the really raw sound of, I think, a non-Leslie, like it was a speaker that just had no rotating speaker,
Mhm.
no movement at all, just raw, almost like transistor-y kind of sound. And it's just all the more reliant on one's own feel, you know?
So this is Ray Charles, Genius plus Soul equals Jazz. This is arrangements by Quincy Jones and Ralph Burns, and this is Bobby Timmons' Moanin'.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
No percussion,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Nasty.
It's
Yeah.
really, yeah, it's super raw.
Phrasing.
We're going to space. We're going to outer space.
You said something in the course when we were talking about this. You said you could pretty much get anywhere with just Ray,
Yeah.
which I think is so true. I mean,
Yep.
hey.
Dry as dust.
You know, people are too scared to go this dry anymore.
Totally.
Yeah,
They
this
are
is
not.
just like.
They don't have the courage
No?
to record this dry.
Whoa.
Oh. So sick. This is so good.
Comping.
Yeah. That's Ray Charles, genius plus soul equals jazz. That is going into my listening playlist for the week. Amazing. Quincy Jones, too. Incredible. All right. Let's go to something probably a little bit more familiar to most, I think, like straight ahead jazz fans. And this is Larry Young's Unity.
Ooh.
And this is one of the great albums of the 1960s. This is Monk's Dream. Woody Shaw, Joe Henderson, and Elvin Jones.
But this one's just trio, right?
Just with
Or just duo.
duo,
Yeah, duo.
Larry and
Damn,
Elvin.
yeah.
No guitar. Just the decision to have no guitar is very modern, you know?
Yeah.
So much space. A very light bass.
Yeah.
No pedals.
He never did pedals?
Not maybe until the emergency days with Tony
right.
Williams.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then he had a bass player then anyways, I think. Maybe.
Did either of you guys ever play with Elvin Jones?
No.
I did.
Did you?
On Michael Brecker's Time of the Essence, 3 tunes.
That's right.
How was he?
Unbelievable. Now, this is Jimmy's 3 drawbars,
Yeah, same as Jimmy Smith.
but I think it's a different vibrato. I think he uses the C1.
That sounds
That
like
one.
Yeah.
It's a little less wavy
Yep,
and still percussion. The 5th percussion.
definitely the 5th percussion.
And he was like, woo.
But this
Those
is,
fourth forces
this
you
is
were
where
showing
you
yesterday.
hear
Yeah.
the fourths.
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember when I first heard this record when I was like 14 or 15. I had no business. I was like, and I was trying to like transcribe those voicings. And I think I kind of had them, but they sounded so different on piano. I was like, damn it, I still don't have them, you know? It's so great.
And the time feel is so loose, I think it would be constrained by
Yeah.
heavy pedal playing.
Yeah, it's so like, and it's very connected, that bass on it.
Yeah, but it makes it so conversational with Elvin.
Yeah.
Like they're just having this dance together, you know?
And I will note that Elvin Jones is doing some of the best Elvin shit right now. You're very well, very good for that.
Root 5th. And also listen to his pedal use too.
know about y'all. This is a hard tune to improvise.
It is.
I mean, it's an easy tune to learn and hard to play. It stays in the same zone. Woo!
Hey. It's so funny because with Larry Young, I don't get pianist references. I think of horn players, you know?
Yeah.
I think of it's like Wayne Shorter-ish.
Yeah.
And Sonny and Joe.
Also Coltrane stuff up there on the, on the Mixolydian. That's straight diminished? Pentatonic.
Hey.
Dangerous for me to listen to this. There's certain people that I, actively stop listening to because I just don't want to try anymore to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's futile.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I stopped listening to Oscar Peterson years ago.
Yeah.
And Bill Evans, I really don't consciously think these days to put on certain records because of how long it took me to try to get away from their influence.
Because you can't help but try to put that.
Yeah,
it's going to
just
come
brings
out.
me right back, and
then it's never as clean as Oscar, is it? It's never as clean.
But is it because it starts to creep into your playing, kind of unconscious?
Yeah,
it does,
yeah,
and I don't want that to happen anymore.
Right. Just would you say because it gets in the space of what your story is, or because you feel like it's?
I think I'm what I really want to do is I mean it's so arrogant for anybody to say I want to stop listening to Bill Evans because if I do I'll sound like Bill Evans. No, you won't.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll never sound like Bill Evans. You'll never have his touch. You'll never have his sound.
Yeah.
You'll never have his ideas. But I was playing at the Village Gate years ago.
Yeah.
And in walks Paul Bley, who I liked. I didn't know much about him, but I respected him, and I never met him before. And he was listening, and he comes right up to me as if we were already in a conversation. And he goes, "Yeah." So I think that's how we started. He goes, "You know what I think you ought to do? You should collect up all your favorite records and throw them out the window."
Ooh.
And he said that to me when I was about 28, maybe. Already kind of on the scene a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I was a little younger, but I was, starting to make a name around New York and stuff. And I was maybe a little hurt at the same time. But then he was like, "You want to get some coffee?" And, we hung out. But I thought about it later, and I've been thinking about it ever since. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he wouldn't have said that if he hadn't heard some germ of originality.
One of those people. Yeah.
In my playing, that to say, you got it. You don't need those people forever. Find your own thing.
That's cool.
And it was Paul Bley. Who had their own thing more than Paul Bley?
Yeah, that's right.
Who started out sounding like Bud Powell.
That's right.
Oh, wow. So I think about that all the time.
It's very cool.
And Jim Hall said a similar thing when I told him that a friend of mine just had a habit of looking for every example of Wynton Kelly on record. And I was telling Jim this, and he said, it's interesting. But, I mean, after a while, don't you kind of get the point? Is what he said.
Right.
And in the case of Wynton Kelly, I mean, he was one of the great artists, but he wasn't one of these guys like Train who, year by year,
he's got a thing.
He's got a thing that was like,
it's great,
just the greatest thing.
But it was every
But it's
time.
like, don't you kind of get the point? Move on, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's deep.
So how do you temper that with just your everyday ongoing, you're in your car, driving around, you're on the road, your musical, what do you listen to for music?
It's vast, and it's often not jazz at all.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because we love harmony, we love classical music. We love. I mean, Herbie said, it's all about Ravel, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So
But could you go up to Herbie and be like, at a gig and be like, Herbie, you sound great, but throw away the Ravel record.
yeah.
Like, no, really, like, is that what it is for him though? At this point,
He already has. He already has.
Like, where does Ravel? Obviously, we know where Herbie started, and you talk about Wynton Kelly. That was a huge influence on Herbie.
That's
but
true.
we don't go hear him now and be like, stop listening to Wynton, because he probably did give that up.
I think for me, it's about not over listening to piano players or organ players for one thing,
right?
Because we have to be influenced by everything.
Yeah.
Orchestral music from other countries, percussion music, great singers. And we have, I think ultimately what we're doing as non-singers and as non-breathing people is try to sound like we're breathing, So I think that's one big reason for listening to horns and singers and people who have to breathe in order to phrase and play. I mean, between guitar players and piano players, we're the most, as Rand Blake used to say about Oscar Peterson, that he had diarrhea of the hands, whereas I just have plain old diarrhea
and hands.
So I think it's really about getting away from your instrument, thinking about how can I get what's an orchestral move that I could make?
Yeah.
What would Nelson Riddle do with the flutes?
Or a vocal move. What can I do with the melody here?
So that's how we transcend the so-called limitations of our instrument.
Right. Well, what about, you were talking about breathing, how much, as opposed to being at the piano when you're at the organ, the right foot, like how much does that get into supplemental breathing
it's all
phrasing,
so much about the pedal, because otherwise it's just here and it just never moves, no dynamics, and this is always going to be that volume if you don't move anything.
Yeah, but you don't always play like that. See,
no,
you're doing that for dramatic flair. I got you.
No, but
it is what it is.
In rock and roll or in a song where dynamics aren't that important.
Yeah,
you can just leave it there and it'll sound fine. But that's why we're always trying to manipulate the drawbars and make this thing. I didn't really mention. I mentioned Joe Zawinul once during the lesson when I was talking about stacked fifths. This kind of. I wrote a tune with these. Just two notes, right? Yeah. But each of these notes have fifths on top of them.
Yeah.
Or below them. I'm not even
Can you play just one note on that manual? So there's like the fundamental.
Right, and then it's,
and then this. So this gives you.
It's 4.
It's like it's like a minor.
What is it?
9 or something, or a minor 7.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It takes 4 notes. It takes 4 fingers to play this.
Yeah.
2 fingers to play this.
So it's
you can get all kind of. So I'm just as influenced by someone like Joe Zawinul. I think about Joe a lot at the organ.
Yes.
To me, he kind of feels like an organ player.
Yeah.
Those duets that he did with, or if you ever seen the pictures, volume pedals all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about expressing.
Right, no matter what keyboard he's playing.
Expression pedal, right. With these, potentially very cold, synthesizers that don't have any dynamics.
Yep.
He was using volume pedals.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one more track. We're going to go out on this track, and this is a really interesting pick.
It better be.
This is a really good. You were mentioning breathing, and we were talking about vocalists and what we can learn. This is Aretha Franklin on the Wurlitzer with the Wurlitzer electric piano, but with Billy Preston on the organ behind
Billy
her.
Preston.
And this is...
Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yeah.
And just as impressive as Billy is Aretha playing the melody.
Yes. Her phrasing is unbelievable. It's we're going to go on this till next time.
All right.
You'll hear it.
I want Still water run deep. Yes, it do. I know that. Oh, yeah. If you only believe.
That could have been a dangerous move up high on the
Yeah, right?
So great. Ooh. And whirlies can be hard to play that expressively on a
Definitely.
single line like that.
Yeah, talk about just a very static attack and
it's so
decay.
like,
She's making it sing.
and that organ is truly support. I mean, it's a great connection there.
Yeah.
How many times have I used that?
There's a great video of a Billy Preston when he's, I think, 5 or 6 years old.
On the Nat King Cole.
On the Nat King
Oh,
Cole
yeah,
stuff,
yeah. That's right.
Cornell Dupree, maybe, or Eric Gale.
Man, the details on this, I was free. Every time I hear this, I'm like, yeah, the placement and details.
Hey.
But just like Billy with the Beatles, he's incredibly supportive without taking the limelight, you know? It's just... And Aretha at the piano.
Yeah. Bass player saving the day there.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like Preston is so like ears and support, but he's also not afraid to get in there and like get aggressive at the right time to say something and get out. There's a lot of taste there. A lot of taste.
So tasty.
Well, Larry Goldings, thank you so much for being
Yeah,
here.
man.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
You
Thank you, Larry. You're the man.
So much fun.
You are the
Yeah.
man.
All right.
It's been a really
We will
awesome
not
visit.
bar you from being on this program.
Oh, bar. Wow.
Would you
Okay,
like to go to the
that's-
bar with me?
Can we cut? Caleb, can we cut? Horrible.
That'd be cool. We're trying.
Cool.